hello, hello.
Good morning, my long lost friend.
I wasn't lost, I was just not around.
You were lost to me. I felt lost without you.
Oh. Well, I'll send you more updates in the future when I have to bop out for a week.
No problem. Thank
Whew, it's
you.
been a whirlwind.
It forces me to get comfortable doing solos. So it's yeah, I like
I love cooler
feeding
talk.
off the energy of somebody else. But
Yeah.
today we're going to talk about, what do you stand for? What, as a person, you as a person, as an individual, what do you stand for in this life?
I
Now,
love
I stand for a lot of things.
this
How
topic.
about we start with you, Cynthia? What do you
I
stand
love this
for?
topic. You're like the queen of topics.
Thank you.
I'm so grateful that you think up all of these excellent ideas for cooler talk. What do I stand for? The first word that came to my mind was authenticity. And
Now, does that mean be real, like being a jerk, or be real as a person?
it it can mean a lot of things. I think it's a loaded word. I think it gets tossed around a
Yeah.
lot without necessarily like a deep understanding of what it is. And the way I defined it when I thought about this topic right before the show is bringing your whole self into the moment. That's authenticity. And I think personally, my opinion is that if you're a jerk, and if being a jerk is sort of like your, just like the way that you respond to life and to people, I actually think that is not being your whole self. I actually think it's a defense mechanism or a learned response to protect your whole self. So you might have been bullied, or maybe, at some point in your past, or you might have been, overwhelmed or the underdog in a situation. And you learned that the appropriate response is to be a jerk to other people. And so I don't think that's being authentic. I think that's just using an old tool that maybe had like outlived its purpose in your current life, and not necessarily gauging, where I am today. What does this moment require from me? So authenticity, that was what I stand for.
You and me both. And transparency.
Yeah.
Of course, we don't need to let the world know every little thing we think or every little experience that we've had. It's kind of a need to know type of thing. But if it's something that will help other people, it will help them if they're struggling to know that they don't have to struggle, that things will and can be better with the right focus.
That's right.
It's kind of
That's
like
right.
something invisible in a way, but that invisibility becomes reality if that paradigm shift can occur.
Yeah. And I think authenticity, I think transparency and authenticity, they work really well together. And that authenticity, it's more of like a discipline, that it's always sort of like taking your focus back inward and saying like, am I, almost asking yourself any moment, any moment throughout your day, like, am I bringing my whole self into this moment right now? Am I bringing my whole self into my interaction with you, or with the show? Am I bringing my whole self in my interactions with my clients, or with the I don't know, the customer service representative that I had to call at my insurance agency. You know,
Mhm.
all of those moments require a certain focus in whether you are bringing your whole self to the moment.
Mhm.
And I think there's a very important shift that takes place when you do that, where you start to find your own strength and
Mhm.
you don't necessarily feel like you need to explain yourself. Jason,
Hey,
welcome.
Jason. Glad you could join us. We were gossiping about you.
We were talking about your homeless situation and your cross country move.
And how you just stay in the game, doing what you do, and carrying the message, not the mess.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, my hat is off to you, Mr. Ligo.
Oh, awesome, awesome. I still have yet to catch that show, but I will for a fact.
It won't be up
So
forever.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Woohoo. Yeah, so we're talking about what do you stand for, and Jason, we know that you have a lot of things that you stand for, and actually, I understand you inspired the show, Jason. Is that right, Rhonda?
Yes, yes. And not only does he inspire his show, he inspires our show. He inspires me because one of the things we've talked about is I need to increase my presence on Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
and I haven't been doing that. So last week I decided, okay, I'm going to start showing my silly side. So I'm slowly getting into that, and just at random moments, I'm just putting it out there. Like I clean the
Okay.
house. I hate house cleaning. Despise house cleaning. And there's
Uh-huh.
some areas here that I've been postponed for months, and it's gotten so bad that
The
I'm like,
corner of doom.
this is like unsanitary now. So, that's how I was looking at it. So I started cleaning house, and it took hours, and I'm not done yet, but I got a good start. And so I popped up a little video about just finished cleaning the house. I need ice cream. And my friends and people responded so well to that, and a couple of them said it made my day. And so that's really what I want to do is lighten up people's day,
Hmm.
as well as promote business.
For
But
sure.
just showing who I am. I do have a very silly side, and so I'm going to start showing it a little more.
I think
Um,
that is wonderful. Look at you being all authentic with your
it's
fun
fun.
self.
We need more fun in our lives, and it doesn't have to be anything elaborate, doesn't have to cost any money. It can just be one moment in time where I'm just going to
Hmm.
be goofy,
Hmm.
you know.
And
So
to tie it in with business, actually, fun that is also authentic is a great way to build a business sustainably, because the fun is what kind of keeps you coming back, keeps driving you, keeps you energized, whereas if you focus entirely on, objectives and key performance indicators and the bank account or whatever, that could actually, have, depending, it can actually have like a negative effect on your ability to maintain that level of energy in your business.
it does for me. In fact,
Yeah.
it's stifling.
Yeah.
And we can be focused too much on work. I used to be a workaholic. So
Hmm.
I have to make an effort. Okay, I'm going to stop now and be okay with it.
Hmm.
So, but putting that limitation also is creating a focus where I have to make the most of what time I have.
Mhm.
And this is a process.
Mhm.
It's not something that personally I can do overnight. I don't think anybody can unless they've had years or months of practicing it and honing
Right.
that skill. So,
Right.
yeah, being your
And
authentic self, bringing good to the world, bringing joy to the world, uh, being positive. Um,
it's a discipline
it is, and then
or
once you've
practice if you
done
don't like the D word.
it, right? If you've practiced it long enough. I did a video recently on hope. This is a very hard time of year for a lot of
Yeah.
people, and myself being one of them.
Mhm.
And I know some folks can get very depressed during around the holidays. So
Mhm.
my message on hope was to, let's focus on gratitude. What are
Yeah.
you thankful for today?
Yeah.
I mean, there was a time when I didn't even think to be grateful for both hands, both feet, both eyes, etc. And it was a great place to start, and that's where I started. And it helped. It just helped tremendously to get out of that negative space um, and move forward.
I'm so glad that you brought up this topic, Rhonda, because just a few days ago I was approached by someone who's very close to me, very dear to my heart,
Hmm.
and he approached me and said, I'm feeling a little blue today, and I just sat there to listen, and then he started to like get quite emotional, like to the
Hmm.
point where I realized he was more than just a little blue.
Yeah.
And and I didn't really know what to do or know what to say. Um, I didn't feel like I had the tools, so I just kind of sat there and listened and try not to. I didn't want to give him advice, and but
He
I'm
probably didn't
glad that
need
you've
it.
made me aware of this and that, yeah, just
He
even,
probably didn't need advice.
yeah, probably
Um,
not.
yeah.
I hope not.
And sometimes just going for a walk around the block can make a difference.
Yeah.
Exercise makes a huge difference.
Yes.
It doesn't matter how little or how light the exercise is.
Yeah.
Just like I take
Movement.
5 minutes to stretch. If I don't
Yeah.
get any exercise done, at least I've done something in the morning to limber my body up.
Yeah.
And it's a positive action. As you know, I'm
Mhm.
action home business, and it's a positive action to take. And learning about a lot of these things in the abundance connection, um, and it's a paradigm shift in the mindset. I watched a great movie recently. I have to mention this movie because I have free HBO Max through my cell phone service. So I mirror the screen onto my TV. And the name of the movie is King Richard. I think it's
Oh,
relatively new. And
okay.
Richard is the name of the father of the Williams sisters, the tennis stars.
Okay.
And this movie was about how he um, guided their lives to ensure their success and um, things that he like at nighttime. Okay, everybody, get their journaling done. What you're going to do tomorrow before you go to sleep. And there were like I think 5 children, three or five kids in the house, and from little on up, he was teaching them tennis and
Uh-huh.
mindset
Yeah.
as part of their training. And he took a very, very active role in making sure that nothing happened too soon that
Mhm.
could possibly deter them from falling.
Right.
And it was a good movie, and that's I picked up on some things during that on how driven this guy was. He was, and what he was about was that those kids get out of the ghetto
Right.
and make something of their lives, something good.
Right. Not allowing the condition to define who they are, and
Exactly.
we all, I think, I don't want to say all of us, but I would say a great number, like 99% of humanity, allows what they see out in the world define who they are as people. And, the shift that took place for me a few years back was the realization that I am who I am first. And that is what I am bringing to humanity and to this existence. And the same goes for Rhonda and all of the other people in my lives. And it has created such a rich experience for me that I cannot say like how much my life has improved. I mean, like most of the time I wake up without my alarm clock, before my
Yeah.
alarm clock. I'm so excited to get started with the day. And,
Mhm.
I'm like, when I go to sleep, I go to sleep instantly, and I don't have worries. And it's not actually, I think the realization that I had was it's not about the number in my bank account. I've actually been in periods where I had more money in my bank account, but my life was the shambles and I was a basket case. you know?
I'm always stifled when I focus on the money.
Yeah.
But if I just focus on being myself and relaying the information, the message that I think I'm supposed to relay,
Mm-hmm.
and do it genuinely from my heart,
Mm-hmm.
things seem to open up out of like you said, money comes out of thin air.
It really
We all know
does.
that's not really the case physically, but you create that attraction that you become a magnet for those better things.
And
Yeah.
let's can I just pause here? I know I'm going to
Yes.
get a little bit woo woo on you all, but money is an abstract concept.
Yes.
At some point, somebody said, "Oh, this coin here, this is worth, a loaf of bread."
Yeah.
Or you need 5 coins for a loaf of bread. It is completely abstract. And when you
Yeah.
realize that, then you actually don't have to focus on the money. Like you can kind of let that go
Mhm.
and really focus on like the things that you have. Somebody said something to me the other day. They said, um, put your money on the gain, not the gap. Meaning, not your money, put your mind on the gain, not the gap.
Exactly.
and and like that is, it's about like being aware of what you have, like you said, being grateful for having, 2 hands, 2 feet. At one point when I was sort of in a really tough employment situation, working for a really tough in a tough sort of management constellation. At first, I was in that same blame position that most employees find themselves in, where they're like, "Oh, this manager doesn't know what he's saying, and that manager, and la la la," and everybody's pointing fingers at each other. And I made a conscious effort to shift my mindset about the environment that I was in. And I said, every day I have to write 5 things that I am grateful for. And I at first it was like impossible. And then at first it was really impossible because all I could think of was all of the things that I really was upset about. But I started small, and like I think I might have shared it on this show. Like the first thing I said, I was like, well, I'm grateful that, this manager has good grooming habits. Like I can sit across the table from him and I appreciate that he smells good and looks good, like, but I have to say, after a while, like I had no problem filling out that list. And in fact, it
Mhm.
got to the point where I started to expand my list to 10 things because I felt like it was not complete. And it would just fly out the door. And I would say about 30 days later, it was like everybody in my environment was clamoring to put me in a better situation.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
didn't ask them to. They, but they were like, something's opened up here. Maybe you want to transfer. How
Yeah.
about we, roll out the carpet for you and make things really easy. And that's when the light bulb went off and I was like, oh, all that changed was in here. That was it.
Yeah.
My attitude. That was
Yeah.
it. And from that moment on, I've been all about like going within, knowing who I am, standing for
Mhm.
something. And really, in essence, what I stand for is who I am and the value that I can bring to every moment and engaging with other people who want to do the same too. And I know that like it only pays dividends to everyone. So
You don't have to feel, you no longer have a need to explain yourself or your actions. It is what it is.
it is what it is.
And yeah, I've been in situations where there was complete chaos going around me, and I was like the only calm thing going on in the middle of all of it.
Hmm. Hmm.
That's a really nice place to be, to
It
just
is.
completely detach from the weeds that no longer serve us.
Yeah. And you're not detached. You're just not focused on it. It no longer gets in your it no longer trips your stride. It no longer trips your stride.
Mhm.
You're like, oh, there are those weeds. There they
And
are.
I
Itty
ran
bitty.
across a clip, Susie Orman, and she was just chatting with somebody on the side. It wasn't a presentation or anything. She was talking about, yeah, how everybody's rooting for you when you're shooting for success, and then once you reach that success, all of a sudden everybody wants to,
Take you down.
criticize. And she says you got to know who you are and what you're about to be
Hmm.
able to let that stuff just roll off of your shoulders.
Yeah.
Because if you want, like in her anybody's case, if you want what they have, you're going to need to do what they did to get there.
Right. Right.
And so, quit feeling sorry for yourself.
Hmm.
And if you really want something better, figure out a way to do it. Find the right people that know what needs to be known or done to get there. A
Hmm.
mentor, somebody that whose path you can watch
Hmm.
and observe and learn from.
And I mean, the what do you stand for question is a really important one because it is different for everyone. I mean, I just feel really attached, let's say, or passionate about the authenticity and being me and bringing my whole self
Mhm.
to. But for somebody else, it can be, to be the best damn engineer like this planet has ever seen,
Yes.
right? Or to look out into the universe and discover a new star, like whatever it is, like you have to stand for it, and it's an excellent point of focus to make sure that whatever you do in life, business or otherwise, is gratifying,
You think you think
fulfilling.
you think Thomas Edison listened to his naysayers?
Yeah, no, gosh. And like all of them,
Look how
I mean,
humanity has benefited from his persistence and
yeah. And he's also not like a popular guy. If you Google him, you'll see how there are like a bunch of people who are like, we were right there, slaving next to him or what have you. But there is a difference, between somebody who has like a really clear vision and
Mhm.
somebody who's just kind of a hanger on. And
Mhm.
I'm not criticizing any of these people and saying
Mhm.
that they were hangers on. I have no idea who they are or what
Right.
have you. But there is, I have to say, like, nothing good comes from trying to take another person down, even with just your words, even if you don't even know the person. Like it doesn't lift anything up.
That's all
It's,
ego. And you know
it's
what? You're just making yourself look bad.
and it's an added burden in your backpack, like that at some point you're gonna have to like clean out.
I know.
It's not worth it.
Yeah, speaking of cleaning out, I'll have to try it now that I'm feeling better, a little better today. I might have to go back down in the basement and do some more clutter cleaning and dusting.
Yeah.
My office is down there. I don't even want to get down there. It's so bad, right?
Well, decluttering is really important. I have to
Yeah.
say, every time I'm about to start a major project, I go through a declutter.
Yeah, it does
Um,
clear the mind.
it,
That clutter is restricting. It does
yes.
because you see all this stuff and it's like the focus needs to be over here, but you're looking at that and focusing there.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it absorbs energy, and
Mhm.
you need an extreme amount of clarity. And I guess that is like the what do you stand for question is a good one. It's also
Mhm.
been phrased as know your why or
Mhm.
understanding your why.
Yeah.
And so they are essential questions to, I would say, not only explore before you start your business, but explore on the regular. I mean, it doesn't matter if what you stand for changes, but I think after a while you'll start to notice a general consistency
Yeah.
in what
Yeah.
matters
And
to
and
you.
and one of my pet peeves is be the same person when nobody's looking
Yes.
as you are when other people are looking.
Yes. Yes.
That's
It's
that's
important.
that is like,
Yeah. Be you.
yeah,
Be you.
don't
100%.
yeah. And another pet peeve of mine is do what's right, not what you're going to get out of it. Just do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So okay, I have a few extra bucks today. Where am I going to be traveling to? And maybe I can do something like buy somebody $5 worth of gas
Right.
and let them know there is abundance out there.
There is abundance out there.
Some people
There
see it,
is.
some are surprised by it, and who knows, it could place a bit of hope in somebody's heart
Oh my
somewhere.
God.
Maybe a little seed was planted. Who knows? You don't know.
It's like the butterfly wings, you know? It could create a tsunami on the other side of the planet.
Yeah, how about that? So, abundance thinking. What do you stand for? I don't know. Jason happens to still be watching. I think you want to in the chat, Jason, tell us how your
What do
take
you
on it.
stand for?
Would love it. And anyone who's watching this later, please in the comment section, tell us what you stand for, what you believe
Mm-hmm.
in.
Mm-hmm. Can be a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
I chose authenticity, but if right after there were a few other words that flowed in. Giving, let's see, I wrote some down. Oh, honesty, dignity, treating people with dignity. Um, I think that's really important as well. And I think that also takes a lot of, self control. Because like you were saying earlier when I was telling you about my friend who had the blues, sometimes dignity really is like this person didn't ask me for my opinion. He just wanted to share his feelings, and I had to dignify that and honor that with the space to let him, let go of whatever was burdening his heart.
That makes a difference.
Yeah,
Makes a
I
huge
hope so.
difference. When before my brother died, I was down there in Ohio and we were at odds a lot, but one day he just said, "Would you just come in the room and sit with me?" And that's what I did. He
Yeah.
didn't want a conversation.
No.
He just wanted company.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we don't, and boy, I'll tell you, there's nothing more valuable than not giving advice when it's not requested.
When it's not requested. Yeah.
Because you really don't know what that other person wants or needs. And I have to, sometimes I have to ask, are you looking for advice or do you just want someone to listen to?
Yeah.
So,
It's important. It's important.
yeah, it really is. You did a great service for him and you did honor him by not trying to solve.
Solve his right.
And you know, I believe, and from my own experience, that people doing what you did for him make a difference
I
in
hope
in
so.
people's lives.
I hope he didn't feel alone.
Yeah, it's little moments like that that can actually carry someone over
Yeah.
over a little hurdle that they might be going through, because depression is just horrible.
It really is.
It's a very dark. It's a very dark place, and you need a lot of help to pull out of it.
Yeah.
From people who know what they're doing.
Yeah. I think it's an important topic. Maybe it's something we could talk about in a future show because, obviously in the world of business, speaking about emotional issues that aren't focused on the positive, let's say, is taboo. But maybe we can talk about and talk about tools to help people to overcome those hurdles or those holes that they find themselves in and they just can't seem to dig their way out of them because
Gratitude's the best place to start.
yeah.
And sometimes you need somebody say, okay, if you can't think of anything to be grateful for, write this down.
Right.
Are you happy that you have both your arms?
Right.
Well, yeah.
Your
Well, that's
toes.
something to be grateful for.
Yeah.
We take all these blessings for granted, and
yeah.
that's my take. And the other thing is don't be one person behind the scenes hidden,
Right.
and then another person when you're out in the public's eye, if you will.
That's right.
Even around family,
That's right.
Don't be one. It's like a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. Just be consistent.
Right.
If you're a kind, generous person, be kind and generous when no one's looking too.
Right. Well, and that's the thing is you're doing yourself a disservice by, putting on all of these masks anyway. And
we can remember.
It's exhausting.
It's exhausting.
It's
to
exhausting.
put on a front and it's not real or genuine.
Like
I'm an angry person, but inside, and then try to portray to the world that you're not an angry person. So, and that was I really liked your insights on that, Cynthia. It's always very.
I love the question. I love our conversations because you've also helped me discover new perspectives and new elements to add around that question because it's a really important question.
So glad. What do you stand for?
Yeah.
What do you stand for? Let us know in the comments.
That's right.
It could be today or later. I don't, even if it's in the replay and you see.
Yeah, whatever. We're here. We're checking it. I'm checking it out less than Rhonda is, but Rhonda's checking it out.
Oh my goodness. And you know what it is? Oh my gosh, it's after 10.
It's past the wrap.
It's a wrap.
It is a wrap. And
Think
we'll
about
see
it this
you.
week. What do you stand for? What do you want to stand for?
What do you want
And
to stand for?
yeah,
Go for
what do
that.
you
Go
want
for
to
that vision. Get that
what do
clear
you
goal.
want to stand for? And are you willing to believe in yourself enough to ignore the naysayers, but
And maintain the focus.
and maintain the focus?
Yeah,
Yes, there will always be naysayers.
they
Always.
will.
Yeah. And with that, this is Cooler Talk with Rhonda and Cynthia. Jason, thank you
First,
for joining us. Anyone else
yeah.
who's watching quietly, thank you for joining us and watching. And
Add your
if you have
comments
any
below.
suggestions for future topics, we'd love to hear them.
God, you come up with such good ones, though, Rhonda. It's
Oh,
like
well, thank
people just want to
you.
wait and find out what's the next topic.
Thank you for trusting me, because we
No,
haven't been able to connect too much. And that's one of the great things about our relationship, is that we trust each other. And we
yes,
trust each other's opinions and outlooks and what we're going to do.
yes, yes.
And the freedom to free to be.
Maybe that's next week's topic. We will discuss offline.
Yes.
So
With
Thursdays.
that said, we're getting closer to Christmas.
This is my time of year.
Enjoy the reason for the season.
Yes.
Take it easy.
Thank you. Talk next week.
Okay.